I guess my first question would be, since we are the youth, we are the future of the planet, what can we do in order to better raise awareness about climate change, which is going to affect all our future?
Yeah, exactly. So it's two things. One, like you said, raising the awareness is key, but then also in terms of the action you can take, right? So as a young person, you can take action so that it serves as an example for other people. So within that way, then you will have also raised awareness. So as a young person, one of the key things is that at policy level, you need to be able to know what is happening within either your country or even your local municipality, and then contribute to those policy making as much as you can at whichever level you can. And in contributing to that, there is the possibility that the youth may not be brought on the table. So you need to be able to demand for the voices of the youth to be heard. But then in making that demand, you should have with you, if it's a specific policy, the points you already have relating to how it affects the youth or how the youth can help implement those policies. So that's the first one. Then the second one has to do with the implementation aspect, right? So everybody can take small steps, and together we have a magnificent impact on the environment. So for instance, being a big greener, looking at the kind of consumption choices you make, what was grown sustainably and what was not grown sustainably, reducing let's say the use of energy and being a bit more energy conscious or efficient, right? So for instance, if you leave a room, putting off the lights and all those small acts, taking greener transport, using the bike, walking when you can, those are some of the things that you can do, but then also having the conversation with your peers in order to build that awareness and then keep everybody aware. But then, youth is a big bracket or a big category, right? You, even within the youth, you could have people who are way younger than you, and being able to cultivate such minds in terms of like going out of whether it is like to schools to talk to other little children on like climate and what they can do to help the climate. I mean, are some of the key things that happen. I have heard powerful stories because where I have gone out to like schools in London to like raise awareness and let them know what they can do, and those kids have gone back home and actually started, being the ones to ask their parents to account for certain actions because, this doesn't help the climate or the earth. So nothing is ever so small. So you have that ripple effect just by speaking to other youth that are way younger than you, and then it builds up because then they now go to their parents or their uncles and aunties and have that interaction with them.
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. Every small step, it's a step forward. So I guess my question for you would be, how can we use culture and art in order to better raise awareness about climate change or to communicate about climate change?
Thank you very much for the question. So, you did say in your question that we are disconnected from it, and I would like to say that yes, a larger portion of the population is disconnected from it, but then we still have some indigenous people who, are still connected to nature, and it serves as their identity, right? It's part of their culture, and it means to them the way they are able to define who they are. So, one, already being able to understand or learn where such indigenous people, culture, management of these resources exist is already key. Granted that it will be resource intensive, but understanding where these things are and how they are happening and being able to document some of this already is one way of institutionalizing the knowledge. But then the other aspect which you say and which I have had experience with is in terms of using like play and drama and music to be able to communicate about the issues of climate change, about the issues of what we can do to local communities and to other indigenous people. And usually, because of the way climate is framed in terms of the very sciencey aspect of it, it makes for a disconnect, right? For like local communities or like, for want of a better word, like learned people, unlearned people, not to be able to connect with what it means. But then the actions they take already have good implications for, you know, addressing the climate crisis, for managing our resources. So sometimes through play we learn. And usually we tend to see the culture as a light aspect of the things we do. We play, you know, we make jolly, and so we can keep doing that. So we can be very, what do they call it, innovative about what we have available with respect to culture, music, dance, you know, drama, and to be able to then still communicate our actions around addressing climate, and also in terms of what the climatic change means for us. And even though you didn't ask this part, it just came to me that one other aspect is we need to also understand how the climate is going to impact those cultures. And we need to start thinking about how we are able to propel those cultures irrespective of the changing climate. So, for instance, let's say, and I have to use like my country as an example, Ghana. We have what we call sacred groves, which are like forests that are kept for like spiritual purposes, and you don't enter it anyhow, you don't cut it and stuff like that, so it's protected. So, for instance, even though you have a sacred grove and human destruction is not happening there, a changing climate could impact it, right? So you could have more wildfires, so we need to understand what it also means in terms of a changing climate for those resources, which is linked to the identity of the people there. Then so that we are able to protect that resource also, the forest also, from a changing climate.
Yeah.
So I think these are some of the key things that we need to pay attention to.